Hi, this is Sheryl Lee Ralph, and you're listening to You Might Know Her From with Ann and Damien.
Ooh, baby, do you hear that? It's the season premiere of You Might Know Her From
Wicka Wicka with Ann and Damien.
Hello, motherfuckers. We are back. It is the season 5 premiere. It is officially fall. I guess it's not officially fall yet. It is still...
It's officially the end of summer. Welcome to fall.
We hope that you all had a beautiful summer. It's been very muggy and very disgusting, but here in New York, we've gotten a few little glimpses of autumnal delight. So I hope that you are relishing that wherever you may be. I'm a person that's like really ready for summer to be over. Like I'm like, okay, I want fall weather now.
No, not me. I wanna prolong the summer as long as I can. But I am out with the rat infestations, in with the rotten pumpkin infestations. That's what I want. But I love prolonging the summer. You know, it's summer. It's just like nobody works on Friday. It's like
I know that I was here for a lot of the summer, and it really was just like pretty deserted. Like people were not around in New York City, which is what I like. Like all the rich people leave on the holidays. So if you're here on a holiday, literally it's like a dead ghost town, which is wonderful. But I'm excited for a little briskness in the air. And honestly, I mean, I don't know that the rats really go away in the fall in New York City, but I have seen a lot of like fully formed dead rats where it's just like the poison just got them and they look like they were alive 15 seconds prior and they just like sort of keel over dead. And I've almost stepped on about 7 in the last month. So if you're telling me that doesn't happen in the fall, I don't know. I think it does.
If you're a dog owner and you're in a major city, send me a DM and let me know what your dog thinks of rats out in this heat. You know, I just want to know. I just want to see something.
I'd also love to know, like, what is the rat situation in other cities that aren't New York? Like, is it as bad as New York? It can't be.
Vermin, I will say, from the very brief time that I spent in LA, vermin is not the same there. Like, it's just not. Like, you're just not seeing mice and or rats like running amok in the city the way that you do in other, or at least in New York. I don't know. New York is so beautiful in that way. So God bless the vermin that keeps us afloat. Folks, holy hell, what a fucking season premiere we have for you, because we are, at the time of this recording, coming fresh off the heels of the Emmy Awards, which, if you read the episode description, saw the title of this episode, you know is huge for us, because guess what? We talked to an Emmy winner, and we talked to this Emmy winner before the Emmy. But, oh my God, Sheryl Lee Ralph won an Emmy, and we have her on the season premiere. And, I mean, Ian, did you watch the Emmys? Do you have thoughts about the Emmys?
I did watch the Emmys. I sort of was like, oh, the Emmys are on tonight. They're on a Monday, which is so bizarre. And I hate that they dragged them out over the course of a month. And it was very confusing. And then you were like, oh my God, the Emmys. I was like, right. So I probably watched about 70%. I was so excited. And also I feel like Sheryl Lee Ralph gave this incredible speech that went pretty viral because, like, A, she sang in it. B, it was like, I felt like there was so much love in the room for her. And she is such a commanding, beautiful presence. Honestly, when you and I both listened back to this episode, I was like, ugh, I could listen to Sheryl Lee Ralph talk all day. I love her speaking voice so much. And then we got to hear her sing. And I was just so charmed by it. What I was deeply not charmed by was Sam J as the like announcer or whatever, like to air, like from the like to commercial bits. I tried watching some of Sam J's stand-up special and I was not into it, mostly because it was pretty transphobic. But Sam J said Mariska, I don't know if you caught this, said Mariska Hargitay, which, like, the show was on NBC, so she could have gotten that right. But also then, did you like that bit that Mariska and Maloney did where they came out? It was like 40 minutes. I was like, what is this leading up to? I was like, oh, literally nothing. And then the announcement was, here are 2 cops you don't want to see get defunded, Mariska Hargitay and Christopher Maloney. And I said, who is writing this fucking shit show? Who is responsible for this fucking joke?
I spent most of the Emmys on my phone on Grindr and talking to Ronnie about Sheryl Lee Ralph because I was like, wow, an Emmy winner, Ronnie. But yeah, I did see the bit and I saw your tweet about it and I thought, wow, that's pretty rough. I kept wanting to turn them off because I felt like you know, we've lamented about this a lot on the show, but I just find award shows to be goddamn boring and so stupid. But then every once in a while, there's like a really wonderful moment where Sheryl Lee Ralph or Jennifer Coolidge wins or Jean Smart wins. Great. And you're so thrilled because you're like, amazing. Like, amazing. These women who deserve it, like, are winning. And that's amazing. I was so excited that Quinta won. But then I was mad that Jimmy fucking Kimmel laid on the floor during her speech. And I was like, does he not understand how this joke is reading? The optics of it.
The optics of it are literally like the white guy will not, like, he's basically saying, like, pry this award show from my cold, dead hands while this, like, black woman that is, like, a new talent to Hollywood is winning this big award for her. And he's literally lying dead on the ground. I was like, you are awful. I hate him so much. Please get him off. He's not redeemed now. I know people think that Jimmy Kimmel is redeemed from The Man Show, but for me, he will never be.
You tell him, man. You tell him. You keep him and Adam Carolla, you keep their fucking feet to the fire. I know you will.
I'll never not remind people. I saw somebody comment that they had a crush on Adam Carolla, and I said, please don't bring that into my house. That is horrifying.
He has such a yuck mouth. You know, like a yuck mouth?
No, what is a yuck mouth? I mean, I can imagine what it is, but like, it's like puffy. One. It's like puffy, but disgusting.
It's just like, it's like their mouth is yuck. You know, he has a mouth
sure. He strikes me as one of those people that when he opens his mouth to talk, that there's a line of saliva, like a waterfall that like comes from the top lip down to the bottom lip. And it just like, you know, like a bubble, it spreads. That's what I think about with him.
Do you like when there's a string of saliva in someone's mouth? Like a string?
No, do you? It reminds me of Cruel Intentions. So maybe.
Yeah.
Selma Blair looked great. I was happy for her.
Me too. I love her.
She's
on Dancing with the Stars. So folks.
Oh my God. Topical.
Dancing with the Stars is coming back. It's on Disney Plus. Good news. We can watch it.
Oh, I'm glad
anytime.
You told me. I didn't know what channel it was going to be on.
Yeah, we will be watching it together. What are you talking about? We will once again have the great tradition of eating chili on a Monday night, watching Dancing with the Stars and recording for the podcast. Yeah, Dancing with the Stars is coming back. Here are the people that you care about, folks. We got Cheryl Ladd, we got Selma Blair, and we got Shangela dancing with a man, Gleb. She's dancing with Gleb, one of the sexiest dancers. So girls, we're eating. Is that what the kids say?
I've heard that. I have been following our friend Katie G has been telling me about JoJo Siwa's like lesbian drama on TikTok. And I do have a TikTok account, but I do nothing with it. I just lurk. But I've been getting all of the JoJo Siwa, which is like, you know, my renaissance with her really came with Dancing with the Stars, where I really truly discovered how much. If you know this show, you know I love JoJo Siwa. You know that she's very important to us. But she's having some lesbian drama with like TikTok lesbians who, you know, frankly, I'm out of touch with. So if you are a listener and you have JoJo Siwa lesbian gossip, please bring it our way. Just so you know, I don't think we have listeners under the age of 22, but if we do, you know where to hit us up. But yeah, I'm excited for Dancing with the Stars. You know, we both love Tyra Banks, but I miss Tom Bergeron. I feel like he's got that little something special. But, you know, Tyra also had that live moment that went viral. So
Tom Bergeron is what, Ian? If nothing else, he is a man that you care about.
Put him on the list. Put him on the list.
I just want to shout out a couple other things from the Emmys before we move on, which is like Natalie Z, former guest of this show, promoting La Brea, looking hot as fuck. Nailed her teleprompter presentation. I was very enjoyed. I was very, very excited to see her. Also, Caroline.
I think that Natalie Z is maybe a woman that you are attracted to. Is that?
Well, maybe she's got something that I find. About it. Yes. I would love to see her with a cigarette at a bar. You know, I'd be like, yeah. And then Caroline Aaron, another former guest of this show. I didn't see her at the show, but she probably was because Maisel is like such a presence. But she was in Rachel Brosnahan's Best Actress clip. And I was like, fuck, Caroline Aaron is so great. I'm so glad we had her on the show. So we'll link out to their episodes because I was very happy to see them getting some network TV time.
Yeah, were also
Natalie's show is on NBC, but still.
Those were both great episodes for us. And honestly, I feel like the Caroline Aaron conversation is one of the frankest that we've ever had in 128 episodes of You Might Know Her From. So if you're new to the show, please dig back into the archives. Nothing is behind a paywall. So please go explore, go find those old episodes and listen up. There's lots of treasure to be unearthed. And we're so glad you're here. We're so glad that if you're returning, that you're back with us. Thanks for greeting us for our season 5 premiere. As Damien mentioned, we are just going to get right into it because this conversation that we had with Emmy winner Sheryl Lee Ralph was From soup to nuts. Perfection. She was giving us everything that we wanted.
Did you say from soup to nuts?
Yeah.
I never heard it. I'm into it.
Wait, isn't from soup to nuts? I feel like I learned it from Clue. Don't they say it?
From soup to nuts.
Do they not say that in Clue? Does Eileen Brennan say that? No, I don't know.
From
She's just
monkey
sipping
brains
soup.
too.
Oh my God, the Clue documentary.
Tell me about it. Tell me about the Clue doc.
I mean, you sent it to me, and I'm so excited about this Clue documentary. Not to get off course, but I'm so excited that there's going to be like a BTS documentary about the making of Clue. I'm so happy.
Everyone who's alive is in it.
Thank God. But back to the great Emmy-winning Sheryl Lee Ralph. We're so excited that the kismet of this moment brought Sheryl Lee Ralph to us right before the Emmys and right after the premiere of season 2 of Abbott Elementary. So please dig in.
You might know her from Abbott Elementary,
Moesha,
Sister Act 2,
To Sleep with Anger,
Ray Donovan,
A Piece of the Action,
and the original Broadway productions of Thoroughly Modern Millie and Dreamgirls.
All right, folks, we are completely over the moon today to be here with actress, singer, activist, and Tony nominee Sheryl Lee Ralph. Sheryl, welcome to You Might Know Her From.
Thank you. You know what? I was actually looking forward to this, so I'm excited to be here with you all.
We have so much to get into, but we're going to start with your most recent success as veteran teacher Barbara on Quinta Brunson's ABC sitcom Abbott Elementary. The show exploded this year and is such a good showcase for this incredibly talented ensemble. But we're particularly drawn to you and Lisa Ann Walter, who plays your BFF at work. We talked to Lisa about your chemistry, but what can you tell us about how the two of you developed your very lived-in on-screen dynamic?
You know something, you know how you meet some people the first time? We met and we clicked and we just talked. We talked about some things. You know, they say, don't talk about politics. Don't talk about all these other things. Whatever the top 3 were, we talked about those things immediately. And we were able to agree, disagree, get along, get to a next point. And I said, oh, very interesting here. And that's how it started. And then we went shopping. And what I really like about her as a shopper, see, you can't shop with everybody because they have to stop, they have to get food, they have to get ice cream, they have to get water. But she's like me. When we go shopping, we are here to shop. Yeah.
I love this. She told us the same thing. She said, I knew Sheryl was my kind of person. We went both right to the discount rack and we said, yes, we know how to do this quickly, efficiently, and well. She is my kind of people.
There you go. Absolutely. So you know it's the truth.
Did the writers pick up on that, and were they like, oh, we see this dynamic, and then built that over like the course of the next few episodes?
You know what? I don't think so. And that's a very interesting thing because we have a great writer's room. I mean, they really, really know how to write, and it just works well for us. We don't have to do a whole lot of leaning onto our own skills to have a great show. We have a great writer's room, and they deliver us the words on the page that, we make incrementally better, but we're delivered a great show. So, yeah, they just do what they do.
What do you think it is about the show that makes it work so well? And do you remember the moment when you were like, okay, this is going to be a big fat hit?
Tyler and I, Tyler played Everybody Hates Chris.
You got it, yeah.
Back in the day. And so, we've done a few shows and such. And one day we both looked at each other and we were like, whoa, I think we're on to something really big here. And he said, you feel it, don't you? And I said, absolutely. And so, we both felt it, we believed it. And I'm still shocked at things like people having requiems for Abbott Elementary because the first 13 episodes are done and, they're Tuesday night at 9:00. They're still on Twitter talking about, what are we going to do? Where do we go? What shall we do? And I just love that. I love that, that we've made that deep of a mark in people's entertainment viewing. I mean, we're destinational TV once again, and we haven't seen that since the 80s, where people scheduled their goings and comings around a TV show.
It's so good. The whole,
Totally.
everything is so good. And it's so specific and it's got such heart, but it's also sort of darkly funny in its own way. But
It is.
I love that on a personal level, your husband is Pennsylvania State Senator Vincent Hughes. So you were like already Philadelphia royalty. But has Abbott sealed the deal? Like, what is the best perk when you're in Philly these days?
You know what? Philly is one of those cities that it's very interesting. Philly loves Philly, and Philly loves all things Philly. And now when I'm in Philly, it's just like, hey, I see you, Mrs. Howard. Oh, it's just amazing. I mean, from West Philadelphia to Rittenhouse Square, everybody's feeling Abbott Elementary, and it's crazy. But I love it.
I love it.
That's nice.
Yeah. They don't mind letting you know how much they love you. And at the same token, they don't mind letting you know how much they don't see you. But when they see you, you're going to know it. Oh, yeah, it's great.
Okay, Sheryl, you famously portrayed lead singer of the Dreams, Deena Jones, in Dreamgirls on Broadway. You did over 1,000 performances of Dreamgirls, and you worked intimately with director, choreographer, genius Michael Bennett. So 40 plus years later, how do you look back on that working relationship you had with him? And do you still have that step into the bad side choreo like in your bones?
Well, let's see. Remember, as a dream, we were always on stage and we never did anything in the background. That was R&B, right in the background. And the dreams were always very, very much up front. Thanks to Effie Melody White, who said quite clearly, background, I don't sing background. Thank you, Effie. With that statement, we went right to the front, although we did spend a lot of time behind James Thunder early. But that's not a whole nother story, especially since Laurel spent so much time under James Thunder early. Under Thunder early, yes. But there was so much going on with the wonderful show, and I am just thrilled and happy that 40 years later, I came back to Broadway as a producer because I was one of the producers of Thoughts of a Colored Man. And when I came to see the show, I was shocked because I didn't realize that the Edward Theater was literally across the street from the Imperial Theater. So I was literally back on the same street 40 years later, just across the street. And I went from actor, actress, singer, to producer across the street. And that meant a lot to me because one day Michael and I had a falling out. He was pissed and I was angry. And he looked at me and he said, when it says Sheryl Lee Ralph presents, that's when you can talk to me.
That's very cool.
So 40 years later, here I was. I was like, Michael, I'm across the street, baby, and I'm talking to you. You want me to come around to the stage door? Let's talk, sweetheart. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So when I look back on it, it was all great. Because I guess I needed all of that to still becoming what I'm still becoming.
You know, you've said countless times over the years, and the creative team as well, that you're not portraying Diana Ross despite the similarities between the Dreams and Diana, Berry Gordy, Florence Ballard, that whole story. Is there anything left to say on this topic, Sheryl?
You know something? I would love to just let it go, but obviously it is one of those things that I cannot escape. I will never be able to escape it. And quite honestly, sometimes I have to say, how amazing it is that I have yet another chapter in my book, my legacy book, my career book, that people will never, ever stop going back to. What a good chapter. I love it. I love it.
So Beyonce obviously portrayed Deena in the Dreamgirls film, but you have said that they actually kept you apart and that they wouldn't let her meet with you. Was it difficult to see this role that you created portrayed on such a large scale? And were you as annoyed as I was that they didn't give you any sort of cameo or anything in the final film? It seems disrespectful.
God bless you, and I thank you for saying that. It was very intentional. I don't know why it was so intentional or necessary. And you know what? I have to tell you, I believe it when I say nothing that is for you will miss you. I wasn't supposed to be there. That's why I wasn't there. I wasn't supposed to be there with Beyonce at that time. That's why I wasn't there. And everything that people tried to keep us away from what is ours has brought us even closer to it. Because the more people tried to block, especially Loretta and myself, from some of the monetary blessings of the show, it only brings us closer to the reality of what we do and what we did in the creation of the show, being the two original women with Dreamgirls from the point of development as Project Number 9 with Tom Ian. Everybody is knowing that more and more as the years pass. So I say to myself, keep doing whatever you're doing, powers that be, because you're bringing closer to the goal. And God knows what the goal is. You know, they say to you every now and then, let go and give God the wheel. I'm giving God the wheel because that journey is better than any one I could have planned for myself.
Yeah, I love it. Also, the movie wasn't that good.
Say what?
I said the movie wasn't that good, Sheryl. The movie wasn't that good.
You know what? Let me just, I didn't have to say anything.
Yeah, you don't have to say it. You don't have to
I
say
don't
it.
have
We
to
will.
say it. Yeah.
Well, I feel particularly blessed to have seen you in 2002 when you originated the role of Muzzy in the Broadway production of Thoroughly Modern Millie. You got two incredible new songs, Only in New York and Long as I'm Here with You. I love both of those songs. Of course, for those of you that don't know, Carol Channing originated the role on film iconically like screaming raspberries out of a moving plane. She was such a specific character and actor. Like, did you get to meet her backstage? Did she have any part where she came and like had an opinion about your Muzzy? Did you guys get to kiki at all?
You know what? It's so strange that you would ask me about Carol Channing. Okay. No, seriously. Okay. It is literally about 20 years ago to this date. So we were either still in previews or we were going to open soon or we had just opened, right? Opening night. Carol Channing comes directly to my dressing room. She comes to my dressing room first. And she, and she had that great voice, very special way of talking. And she says to me that she is so happy to see me in the role because I get to be myself in the role. I don't know exactly where she's going with this conversation. She goes on to tell me the story about how she could never acknowledge the Black woman in her family.
Oh, no.
And she goes on to tell me that she had to erase that part of herself in order to make it in the industry. And that she goes on to tell me about her close friendship with Pearl Bailey. Pearl Bailey knew who she was, and she wanted me to know that at this point in her life, she wanted to accept who she really was. And I was like, wait. Is Carol Channing at the opening night of Thoroughly Modern Millie seeing me as a Black woman in the role of Muzzy Van Hosmer having a come to Jesus moment, trying to tell me that she's been passing all these years? I was just like, why am I the only person in this room right now?
Wow.
That is a lot to hold on your opening night.
Thank you.
It's a lot to receive, Sheryl.
I was like, what the hell? I was like, oh my God. And then I think Whoopi was one of the producers on the show. And I was like, girl, I got a story to tell you. I got to tell somebody.
Oh my God. They're like, get her out of here. Get her out of here. I got to get to this after party.
What a story, huh? So yeah, we did Kiki quite a bit.
Okay.
And then we also had lunch together too, because she told me when she comes to California, she said, I want to have lunch with you. And she called me up and we had lunch. Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Me too.
Right. So, Sheryl, we've heard one of the things that you've said is you would like to be offered the sort of complex musical theater roles that Patti LuPone and Christine Ebersol get. And recently, of course, you returned to Broadway to be the first Black actress to play Madame Morrible in Wicked. So putting these sort of things together, like, are there dream roles for you left on your bucket list to, like, come back to Broadway and do? And if so, what are they?
Dolly. I always wanted to do Dolly.
Yes.
Mame. Always wanted to do Mame. Mama Rose. Always wanted to do Mama Rose. And these are all things with this open thinking that are very easy to do. You know, the fact that we can have George Washington portrayed by a Black man on Broadway. Well, what can't we do then?
Right.
Thank you. You know, yeah, some of those things would be great. Or creating brand new roles like that would be even greater.
Norma Desmond.
Yeah. Norma, oh my, can you not see me in Sunset Boulevard? Can you not see
clear as
that?
Day.
Oh my God. That, and the thing that gets me is we would sell out. It's a perfect short run sell out. But you know, me as a producer, what I would have to do is line up at least 3 good girlfriends that I know would do the role, slay the role, and do it for at least 6 months. Because that's all we need to make some good money.
You mean so that you could do a rotate, like that way when your contract was up, then someone else would step in? Is that what you mean?
Exactly.
You, Loretta Devine, Jennifer Lewis.
Yes, that's it. That's it right there. I mean, we're sold out. We're sold out. And if we were to just rotate just on the way we want to do it, everybody's winning. Everybody's winning.
Well, we do have some theater producers that are listeners, so hopefully from our mouths to their ears.
Oh, God, yes. I think producing theater can be much easier, much more of a moneymaker if we rethink the way we try to sell shows to people. And if we really start thinking as creative capitalists, but with heart, because you can't talk about artists and not have heart, because if you're not good to them, then they don't give you their best. And I've seen it happen over and over, and it's just horrible. And sometimes all you have to do is be nicer. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, because actors are like children. They want to please you.
Yeah.
Right. They need a soft touch sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of the time. A lot of the time. Yeah.
Okay, Sheryl, you won an Independent Spirit Award for your role in the 1990 film To Sleep with Anger. This film is steeped in folklore and is sort of a mythic tale of a Black family in South Central LA told on a domestic level. And it's beautifully written and directed by Charles Burnett, and it co-starred Mary Alice, Danny Glover, Carl Lumbly, Ethel Ayler, and Vanetta McGee.
Yes.
We were so pleased to discover this beautiful film. Did the experience working with this incredible ensemble of Black artists, helmed by a Black auteur, about a Black family, did it feel unique in your oeuvre, in your body of work?
I was so happy making that movie. And, you know, first of all, I was in all of my own clothes in that movie. So I should have gotten a point for being a good costumer. And my makeup skills were honed very well on that black eye. I did a great job with that black eye.
Nice.
So,
okay, yeah.
I had such a good time. I loved working with Charles. I always wanted to be like a muse for Charles. I was just like, oh my God, if he could just fall in love with me as an artist, because he's a happily married man at the time, but if he could just fall in love with me as an artist, and then we'd make all of these movies that would just be so special. But anyway, I won the award. I gave my acceptance speech, and the very next day, I was all over the industrial, the Hollywood industrial papers, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, and people were talking about my speech where I literally begged the industry to try and see the black girl, try and cast the black girl. And, it shouldn't just be me and waiting years for the next black girl in the role, but to truly open up the eyes of the industry. And then to hear something similar from Viola Davis, I was like, yes, God, yes, we're moving on up. We're getting closer. To see her win, it's just like, yes, and I was very, very proud starting that moment with To Sleep with Anger. And I don't know if you noticed, and this is how I look at things of success. Since then, Charles Burnett has been inducted into the Oscar Hall of Fame. And, he got his honorary Oscar as a treasure to the industry. I was there to see that, and I loved it. I mean, can you imagine when they do these governors' balls and dinners? It's like going to the Oscars, but it's much more intimate. So that was great. Devon Franklin, who played my son, my young son, he has now grown up and is quite a skilled actor in a series now called Snowfall.
Oh yeah, we know Snowfall. Oh my God, I didn't even make that connection.
Yes, so that's Devon who plays.
Oh my God.
Yes, and I was just like, oh my God, he's doing such great work.
That's incredible.
That whole connection there, and Richard Brooks, who played my husband in To Sleep with Anger, is my husband in Abbott Elementary.
Okay, you're blowing my mind. That's great. That is really
That's
full
very
circle.
cool.
That's lovely.
I keep telling people, this whole time in my life right now, I've got all of these circles just completing. When I look at Devon's first job and then I look at Devon's last job, I'm like, God is good. The industry had something for him, Richard and I to be together. And now on this show, for however many episodes we get together, season 2, that's a wonderful thing. Charles being in the Academy, the Hall of Fame, a treasure to the industry. Yes! Then I think about where I started when Mr. Poitier left me with all the tools to move forward. And basically the biggest tool was hope and passion, and to know I belonged in the industry. And when he apologized to me and said, you're so good, and the industry has so little to offer you right now. Man, look where we are. We hung in there. Look where we are. And look at all that I'm seeing come true. I love it.
It's beautiful. And also, just for our listeners, Sidney Poitier directed you and starred in a piece of the action, your first film, right? When you were quite young.
That's right. I was 19 years old. I had just graduated from Rutgers University, and I had come back from a whirlwind tour singing, and I got a message that said, you got to go meet Mr. Poitier. I met him, I auditioned, and the rest is history. My herstory.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sheryl, for our listeners, there's one iconic role that we have to touch on, and that is, of course, Dee, the lead character stepmother on the UPN's Moesha, an incredible, iconic 90s family series that solidified you in the pantheon of best sitcom moms of all time. So you were already a veteran in the industry at this point and had starred on It's a Living, recurred on Designing Women. But did portraying Dee mark any shift for you in your career since it was such a hit and had this long 6-season run?
Wow. You know what? It is so interesting when people start telling you what you did, because I had forgotten that I had done that. So I was like, wow, she's right. I had quite a career before that show. I know it's weird, but I loved doing Moesha until I didn't love doing it anymore, which led to me leaving the show. But going into it, I was so proud and happy to look at Brandy, because now I'm like maybe 34 years old, and I'm looking at this little 14-year-old who's in her braids and she's writing in her diary. It's like I'm seeing myself in the past, but it's the story of the future. And she's so cute and she's talented. She's got her little hit song and all. And it makes you feel like wow, wow, we're on the right path. So for me, it was another, little circle that was starting. It was just a good time, a very good time. And the fact that this little black girl was starring in this show. I remember for me, it would have been when I was little. I mean, I remember in grade school, there was an actress, Patty Duke.
Of
And
course.
Patty Duke was starring in her show, and I used to dream that I could be like Patty Duke. Well, not really like Patty Duke, but you know
Identical cousins.
what I'm saying. Exactly. And then there was another teenager on TV, and that was Sally Fields. And I was
Oh,
like,
that's Gidget,
wow,
right?
they have their own shows. The Flying Nun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was like all of these circles, just amazing. And here she was starring in her show. It was great. I was happy.
As mentioned, you said that the story goes that you requested for Dee to become a recurring character in the 6th and final season of Moesha when they introduced this dramatic storyline about your husband Frank reveals that he had a son, a secret son played by Ray J. Is this true? And if so, was that a difficult decision to make because that had been your home for 5 years?
Well, first of all, I was confused because Ray J had already been introduced in the show as a different character completely. So when they reintroduced him at another age, I was like, okay, maybe nobody will put these dots together. But the fact for me was difficult because they chose to destroy the character of Frank. And you had this wonderful black family, Ladera Heights, they were doing so well, loving each other. The idea of the blended family, a stepmother that was not the wicked stepmother. We just had so many great things going for us as a show. And I don't know why people thought there was a need to ruin it and break down the character of this good black man. I just didn't agree with it at all. I didn't understand it at all. It just got bad, because, sometimes you can be in spaces where you speak your mind and what you say is heard. Then you have places where you can be in and you speak your mind, and then it's like you're like some sort of an evil whistleblower and you're banned to the hinterlands. And I was just like, you know what? I don't need to be here all the time. Let's just figure this out together.
With distance, there have been some whispers of a Moesha reboot. Is there any truth to that? Is there anything you could tease, or would you go back?
It's so interesting because I thought, wow, with Queens being on ABC and Abbott Elementary just being such a raging hit on ABC, who knows? Maybe for one of their streaming platforms, it might have been the perfect time. But now I don't know if Queens is coming back or whatever. But, I never say no, because I'll never forget the one time somebody asked me if I liked the color green. And I said, no, I don't like green. And this one designer bought me in the beautiful shade of green. And I put it on and I looked amazing in it. And I was like, I love green. So I never say never.
Okay.
Never say never. The right script comes along. The right premise comes along. A brand new way of seeing what Moesha might be like now. Hey, one never knows. Besides, it's obvious. She and I have good TV rating. Why wouldn't we do something great?
Exactly.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Sheryl Lee Ralph.
Yes.
We have entered the part of the show that we call rapid fire. This means we are wrapping up. We're getting everything else out that we need to before we part ways. It's rapid for me and Anne because we're throwing a lot at you, but if you need to take your time, that's okay.
Okay.
You've long been an HIV/AIDS activist. You produced the Sylvester musical Mighty Real off-Broadway. And you played Margot Channing in Applause in Los Angeles, where you get to perform the anthem But Alive, where Margot goes to a West Village gay bar and drinks and dances with a bunch of gay men. So all of this...
Okay, so wait, stick a pin. Let me tell you a nice story about that. In the chorus are two young men who want to talk to me at different times and ask about what do I do, where do I go in an industry where it seems there's no place for me. And I had to say to both these young men, As talented as you are, you could ask me, there's no place for you. You better dig into your deepest talent that you love and live in it. One of them was Shaun T, who has gone on to immeasurable success in the exercise dance world.
Yeah.
The other one was Leslie Odom. Need I say more?
Nice.
How about that for a good story?
That is a good
I love
story. We set all of
So now, go ahead.
yeah. Well, we set it all up to say that you have gay cred. You know, like you have gay cred. You have been an advocate for years. What has your most raucous night at a gay bar in New York City been? And if you went to the Monster right now, would you have to buy your own drinks, or would someone say, "Sheryl Lee Ralph's here, a round on me"?
Believe it or not, if I walked through it and it was summertime, somebody would say, "In the evening, the real me comes alive." And they would put on my disco hit, because I'm a one-hit wonder with my gay anthem, "In the Evening."
We're gonna get there.
Very good.
Everybody, the first round would be on somebody, the second round would be on somebody, and the third round would be on me, just because. Yes. That was it, baby. That was it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that would be the best answer, because the real answer is what really moved me to activism. And it put me on a life path that has been the right path, although there were a lot of people who told me I was stupid. A lot of people who told me I was crazy and told me that I just spent too much time thinking and caring about those people. I'll never forget it. I learned that racism and all kind of isms can live deeply inside people as people line up to decide who they're going to hate. And I just learned so much, but it was the road less taken, but it was the right road for me to take. Yep.
Well, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Sheryl, you've played Brandy Norwood's stepmother on Moesha, Pooch Hall's mom on Ray Donovan, Jennifer Hudson's stage mother on Smash, Tia Mowry's mother on Instant Mom, and Lauryn Hill's mom, of course, in Sister Act 2.
Yes.
Sheryl, which of those people would you call first if your car broke down and those were the only numbers you had in your phone? And which of those mom roles are you most often recognized for?
Oh my God. First of all, don't I just have the best entertainment children?
Yeah,
Every Mother's
it's an
Day.
impressive list.
Yes, it's a very impressive list.
It
and
is.
look at that. Even Devon is back up there. Look at that. My children just keep coming and making Mother proud. But let me see. If the only number I had and my car broke down, I'd have to call Tia. Oh, Tia has everything. Yeah, Tia would just be right on it. And Tia couldn't do it. She would call Tamara. And Tamara would be right on it. So that's who I would call. They're wonderful. I love them. But I love all of my children. But I'd have to call them if it was a state of an emergency, because they got the numbers.
I like it. In terms of like who, like when you get yelled at on the street, like what mom role are you most often recognized for?
It's very, very hard, because I have to tell you, I'm always somebody's dream girl, even to this day. I'm always Moesha Mama, not Moesha's mother, always Moesha Mama. I'm always to somebody they want me to say shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh, singing does not put food on the table. Oh my God, they want me to hear that. They do. Yeah. And now Mrs. Howard is like mother to so many. And it's like they want me to know that they are Barbara Howard. So I don't really know what. I'm just amazed that over so many generations, I'm able to affect so many people. It's really weird, but it's really God-given. So that's what I think.
Yeah.
Okay, Sheryl, you starred opposite Denzel Washington in The Mighty Quinn, Robert De Niro in Mistress, Timothy Hutton in Deterrence, John Voight in Ray Donovan, and Jennifer Holliday in, of course, Dreamgirls. Who was the most method of these actors? Or, you know, maybe demanding, whatever, insert word that you think is appropriate.
Ooh, let's see. Now, these are all actors at different stages of their career and different ages in life. So some of them might have been horrible, but they were too they were too young to know that's what they were doing. then others might have been loving on themselves, but thank God they had a partner who was able to balance out the ship. And then there were others that were just in a whole nother stratosphere. You don't know what the hell are they thinking. And then there was Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro and I made a movie called Mistress.
Mm-hmm.
And one day we were in between scenes, and Robert De Niro looked at me and he said, "You are a damn great actress. And that is too bad because Hollywood is not looking for the black girl. And you better climb that mountain and wave the red flag and let them know that you are here because you deserve to be seen." And I will always love that about Robert De Niro. And Robert De Niro, one day I thanked him for it, and he said, "My God, I had no idea I was that wise and wonderful, but it's true." Yeah.
I have one question for you, Sheryl. Did Jon Voight wear a white scarf on the set of Ray Donovan? That's, it's his signature look. Was he wearing it ever on set?
He didn't wear it on set, but he did like to wear it when he would dress up and go out. And he did I did see him at the Oscars and some Oscar parties a few times with the white scarf on. Yep, it's real.
Thank you.
Thank you for confirming. Okay. Sheryl, your mother was legendary Jamaican fashion designer Ivy Ralph, who notably created the Kariba suit, the two-piece suit made famous in the 70s by Jamaican Prime Minister Michael Manley. This seems like a lot to live up to. So did your mother often have an opinion about your fashion choices throughout the years, or was she more of just like an excited participant in your fashion?
Oh, she always had something to say about everything that I wore, always. And she was always wonderful about making sure that something was created just for me. And to this day, I still have memorable pieces that my mother created or had created just for me, right down from my prom gown, to the first coat that I wore to take pictures. She really thought that the V in the neckline of my premiere night gown for Dreamgirls was much too much. And actually, the gown was sort of like do you remember the gown that Princess Di got married in?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it had those big sleeves and the ruffle in the front. Mm-hmm. Well, my ruffle went all the way down to my belly button. And like hers was silk. That's why her dress was not white. It was off-white, which I always loved that about her. My dress was gold lame. And instead of it having the big skirt, it was pared down just enough so that you got to see the shape of my body. But it was the décolletage that my mother thought was quite unsightly and did not need to show that much. But, I was young and I was flat. It didn't show much at all.
We're going to link out to it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. I think Doja Cat or one of those girls did a photo session in a dress that was very much the same dress just the other day. And I was like, wow, look at that. My Dreamgirls premiere dress.
Okay.
We're going to look it up.
Please do.
Okay, Sheryl, you star as Rita in the Disney animated film Oliver and Company alongside Billy Joel, Joey Lawrence, Cheech Marin, Roscoe Lee Brown, Richard Mulligan, Dom DeLuise, and Bette Midler. Yet Ruth Pointer of the Pointer Sisters provided Rita's singing voice. What gives? What the heck?
You know what? That was when, Hollywood just made up their mind who was going to sing what song. And at that time, remember, the Pointer Sisters were very hot. That was I'm So Excited and all of that stuff. And Ruth Pointer, we still talk. But I was just like, hey, that's Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And that's that. But everybody knows it's my speaking voice. And I still do voiceovers to this day. So I'm not mad. It is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Sheryl, you worked opposite John Goodman, Elizabeth Perkins, Rosie O'Donnell, Rick Moranis, and a baby caveman Bam Bam, plus an orangutan in the 1994 live-action comedy The Flintstones. Please, Sheryl, describe that day on set for us.
First of all, I have to say this. It was not everybody in the cast. It was the orangutan. My God. I literally had to for whatever reason, not bond with the orangutan. Because, yes, because, and I found out that I'm a very bondable person. People like to bond with me.
Yeah.
And the orangutan looked at me one time and decided that it was bonding with me. It liked me. And once you have an orangutan on you, it is hard to get that little mother hubbard off of you. And they don't have the same sanitary habits. They must wear a diaper at all times because they will take a poop wherever they want to take a poop. Hanging off of your shoulder or not, they're gonna poop. And that orangutan, oh my God, it did not want to leave me. And I was just like, my God, why does this mammal have to hang on to me? Why, God? Why? Why? Oh,
Was the animal
that. And they smell too.
Yeah.
They don't put on high karate or old canoe, old spice, whatever it is. They are just stinky little mammals
Yeah.
that want to show you love.
Was the animal trainer a lot?
Yeah, the animal trainer has to be there. So it's just, animal. When you work with animals, guns, and children, the stage sets are very different. So if you're there with a dog or orangutan, the handler is right there with you. And it's interesting, though. The smaller the animal, they're more there. I just finished doing an episode of How We Roll with Shy McBride. Mm-hmm. And I play with a little dog, a little chihuahua. And the dog's name was Howley Berry. And hey, you'll see it. I think the episode comes up soon. And anyway, little Howley Berry, that handler was there right from my arms, do the scene, right back in the arms. They weren't that quick with the orangutan.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Sheryl, you were a panel judge on season 6, episode 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race, where the cast performed something called Shade the Rusical, which was sung live by all of the contestants. I have to say, this was one of the roughest rusicals of all time.
Yes.
Was it as rough to watch in the room as it was on TV? And also, was RuPaul in sweatpants while she was on the judging panel?
Oh, no. On that
No?
day, Mother was in full regalia and
Okay, great.
retinue, too. Yes, regalia and retinue were there to be seen, darling.
Yes.
Yes. So Mother was truly done from head to toe. Yeah. Now, in watching the show, oh, my God.
It was so bad. It was awful. I just revisited it. I was like, I cannot believe Sheryl Lee Ralph had to sit through that. It was horrific. I mean, I liked so many of the queens. They were really bad.
Oh, my God. It was so sometimes when I see the show now, I'm like, wow, we've come a long way, baby.
Yes.
A long way, But it's interesting to see that just that long ago, guys weren't really taking their singing as seriously as they take it now. So that was interesting. And then
I think they don't force them to sing live anymore. It was really rough, the live singing.
Oh, very rough. And as you could see in my episode, speaking was kind of rough too. I was like, young queen, put a cork in it. And I mean it, literally. Start to enunciate. We need to understand.
It's an iconic line from the show.
Hey, and I said it. That's right. I'm coming out with a line of T-shirts. That's right. I said it.
I will wear one.
Thank you.
Okay, Sheryl, last question, very important. In 1984, you released a solo album, In the Evening, an album full of dance hits and disco bops. It is iconic. I've been listening to it all week, I guess all weekend, really, in preparation. Sheryl, would you ever do a concert, an evening, if you will, of songs from In the Evening? 54 Below, Catalina Bar and Grill, Fire Island, The Gays Will Come.
I love you. Thank you for that. I was actually just asked to sing at 54 Below again. They keep asking me and I keep saying no. But
You tell that Jen Tepper no.
it is the 20th anniversary. Isn't it their 20th anniversary, or their 15th or their 10th? But either way, it's the 20th anniversary of Thoroughly
Millie.
Modern Millie. So I'm going to go and sing one song, one night, and I'll sing only in New York. That part.
Okay.
Yeah, but I want to work on an album, especially a Christmas album. Yeah.
You've released singles since then, though, like, and also you've released dance remixes of songs from In the Evening, correct?
Yes. And of course, in the evening, the real me comes alive. I can feel it. Oh my goodness. You know, where I go from the homeless street woman into the diva of the night. Yes.
The music video is so good.
Thank you. I wrote that whole concept, came up with that. People love that thing when they see it. And every summer, somebody redoes it, you know, remixes it in the world somewhere, and people love it. And I love that because, and again, it keeps you current. But people most times don't put In the Evening and me, the Sheryl Lee Ralph, together with the song, which I'm like, Sheryl Lee Ralph? I mean, I am Sheryl Lee Ralph. And it's like, that's you. And I'm like, yeah. So it's very interesting how people don't connect certain dots.
Yeah. Well, they should now.
There you go. Thank you. We'll see.
Sheryl Lee Ralph, this has been a total romp, a total pleasure, so much fun. We're so happy for you in Abbott Elementary, and we cannot wait for your iconic performance at Fire Island this summer where you do all of the hits.
Oh my God, I love you.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you. Mwah. Have a good rest of the season.
Sheryl Lee Ralph came up with a concept for the music video for In the Evening. That is so beautiful for me to know that she was the mastermind behind it all. That track is so good. If you haven't gone to listen to the album, please go do it. It is available.
The whole album
wherever
is
you stream.
excellent.
It's so good. I want to get it on LP, but I really do hope that, like, you know, post Abbott, post the Emmy win, there is like a renaissance for Sheryl Lee Ralph where, like, she shows up at some gay bars, she shows up at some clubs, and we get some remixes this season. I love her voice so much. I loved that story, which isn't even to say to, like, get into the whole, like, Dreamgirls Beyonce thing, which I feel like was, again, we said it, you didn't. The movie was bad, Sheryl.
Yeah, and also, like, the Carol Channing story. Wow. I mean, it really, like, we sort of were like, oh my gosh, did they, like, think that, like, because Carol Channing has said, you know, in her later years, she had said that she was biracial. We were like, oh, is that why they cast Sheryl Lee Ralph? Because they were like, oh, like, this is a black woman role. And then the Carol Channing went backstage and that happened. Like, my goodness, what a moment. Sheryl is such a good storyteller.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have such love and affection for Carol Channing. She is a legend.
Same.
I love Hello Dolly, but wow, I mean, it was a lot. Also, Carol Channing, like, then went on Wendy Williams, like, in her literal last years, and was like, well, I don't know if that was really true. And it was like, okay,
I
Carol,
forgot about
stick
that.
to the story. Stick to the story.
We do love Carol Channing. Also, did you catch this thing that Sheryl said? Actually, I haven't even said this to you. When I re-listened to it, she said that Carol told her that she and Pearl Bailey had, like, Pearl Bailey understood her.
Yeah.
Saw her, which, like, I first took to mean that she knew that Carol was biracial or had like a black person in her family, and that was like how she identified and was part of her, that, you know, or at least that she passed.
Totally.
and wasn't able to fully reconcile with it. But then when I re-listened, I thought that maybe there was an inkling that there may have been some sort of, you know, this is all my speculation. This is me reading everything with a queer lens, but I don't think that's true. But I just wanted to see if you had thought of that at all. That, like, oh my God, what if Pearl Bailey was like, I see you, I know this about you, and also, like, let's have a little tete-a-tete.
Well, my God. Well, we need to
put it on Data Lounge. Put it on Data Lounge.
We need to send this info to Davine Joy Randolph when she's prepping for that biopic about Pearl Bailey.
Yes.
But gee whiz. I mean, Carol Channing and Pearl Bailey, we've talked about it a little bit here, but they did a concert together, which I believe you, my fine feathered friend, gave to me on DVD. And it is really, like, they do have a great repartee. And
they really
it is like they do have a special dynamic.
It is all on YouTube now. Some beautiful human has uploaded the entire thing. So if you don't know the Carol Channing Pearl Bailey special, please go watch it. And if you are not familiar with In the Evening, go buy it, go find it on LP, go watch the music video. It's incredible. Support Sheryl Lee Ralph and everything. Let's bring her back to Broadway to do Dolly, to do fucking Mama Rose. Like, do Mame.
To do Sunset Boulevard.
Okay, Sunset Boulevard is the thing that really piqued my interest the most. I thought that was a great mention by you, and I think it definitely spoke to Sheryl.
her speaking voice to me really like falls in a place that sound like I feel like, oh, that could be, what is that character's name? I can't remember at the moment.
Norma Desmond.
Thank you. Just feel like her voice lives in a place that's so regal and elegant that I would love to see her, Norma Desmond. But yeah, I mean, good golly, she's just so cool. Sheryl is so cool. And also she confirmed that Jon Voight is always wearing a fucking white scarf. So like, God love her, you know?
We'll bring it up anytime we can. I just need to talk about Jon Voight and the white scarf once a month. Folks, thank you. Please support Sheryl Lee Ralph. Please support us in any way that you can. Follow us on social media. You can find me at Rodeman. That's RODEMANNE. And you can find my beautiful 5'5" friend over here at Damian Bellino on all mediums.
Would you guess that I was 5'5", or would you guess taller, shorter based on photos?
Oh, it's so hard to know because I've known you for so long at this point. I would guess 5'5", but I think you're closer to. Are you closer to 5'5.5", or are you closer to 5'5"?
You might know her from It's produced by us. That's Ann Rodeman and Damian Bellino. We also want to thank our beautiful, wonderful, smart, and supportive consultants at Grumpy Entertainment. Of course, that's Jason Jude Hill and Daniel Sears, and all of that silky smooth, pristine, and perfect editing you hear is also by the wonderful Daniel Sears.
Special thanks to Gang. All the music that you hear on each and every episode of You Might Know Her From is courtesy of Gang. Did you know Gang's from Philly? Did you know that Gang is 3/4 women and you can stream their music wherever you listen to your tunes? If you need a link to In the Evening, guess what? It's going to be in the show notes. If you need a visual image of Jon Voight in that white scarf that Sheryl Lee Ralph confirmed that he wears to award shows, guess where you'll find it? In the show notes. If you're new to the show, I spend a lot of time on these. I think it's very important to archive every single minutia that we discuss on this show for future reference, so I can go back and say, what is the episode where we talked about me losing my phone at that Fiona Shaw Jesus show on Broadway?
Mary, what was it called?
Something like that. I can find that via the show notes, so please go check them out. They are full of luscious discoveries that we give just for you. Special little gift.
So Lea Michele opened Funny Girl. Tons of videos, like, were they just not enforcing people to be on? Like, I feel like they wanted people to like record.
That was the whole thing. Yeah, I think they probably. Oh my God! What if they were plants? What if they were plants?
Yeah, I'm sure they invited like people from her fan club as like a, like.
That's
I
old
wonder.
School.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But then she got fucking COVID. My friend Kathy, you know Kathy, she's a friend of the show.
Yeah.
She's Kathy from Kentucky. She doesn't live there, but she's from there. But she flew back from wherever she lives now. I don't want to put her whole business on fucking podcast. She flew here because she bought tickets to sit front row to see Lea Michele, and Lea Michele has COVID. So now Kathy literally just flew out of New York this morning, not having seen Funny Girl.
It's like, send the bill to Miss Michelle. You know what I mean? She can foot the bill. She's not her fault for getting COVID. She probably got it from somebody in the cast. You know, it's just like inevitable.
Yeah, I think that they've been having COVID outbreaks in the cast, yeah.
Yeah, because they flew in somebody that, like, they brought somebody in and hired her, like, the day before, and then she walked on with the script to play, like, one of the supporting roles. Like, there was nobody to, like, play the backup role. So, not Lea Michele's fault. But I loved, you sent me, like, Rosie O'Donnell was like, damn it, I was supposed to see her on Tuesday night. And some other famous people.
You know who was in the comments was Leah Delaria being like, I'm supposed to see her Wednesday. And I was like,
That's
cool,
right.
Everyone's obsessed with seeing this.
The good news is that I have spent a lot of time on Rosie O'Donnell's TikTok and discovered her like girlfriend, her new girlfriend, spent a lot of time looking at the both of them. And the girlfriend is sort of like an influencer, like positive lesbian influencer they met on TikTok. I'm just, you know that Rosie O'Donnell is very important to me.
Yeah, obviously she should be important to everybody on this. You shouldn't be listening to this show.
That's true. Just actually turn this off if you don't like Rosie O'Donnell. I know that there are things to be said, but also I just feel like she's so pure in who she is. Do you know what I mean? Remember during the pandemic when she was doing those videos out of her like rec room and there was like paint and fabric on the floor and she was like, Lin-Manuel Miranda and Tova Feldshuh, what do you guys have to say? It was like, this is incredible programming. She just has so much love for New York theater, and I feel like she'll do whatever she can to boost it up, and I love her forever for it.
I like when someone was like, Rosie, you look beautiful. And it was like, you know, she has like Carmex on her no lips. And she was like, thanks so much. I had an audition this morning. I put eyeliner on and TikTok won't stop.
TikTok, you don't stop. I love her. And if you haven't watched A League of Their Own all the way through, you must. Damien, have you finished it yet? I'm putting you on blast. on! You haven't even gotten to Rosie's episode.
I'm gonna work
Okay,
on it.
meet me back here when you've watched Rosie's episode of A League of Their Own. It is extremely moving, and that's all I'll say.
Folks, we're monthly now. We'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.